Good morning, welcome to Morning Review. This is Kim speaking on Tuesday, the 3rd of January. Happy New Year to you all. Okay, so let's see what this Happy New Year is going to bring us, eh? So starting looking at the euro dollar first, and well, we've seen some, I've not been trading through the holidays at all. We've seen some price action through this, or quite a spike a couple of days ago there on the 30th. It may be that was just a low volume spike effectively, and at the moment it's put this sort of pivot swing pattern in on the dailies, and it looks relatively bearish here. That said, there is a monthly pivot above, and there's the opportunity at some time to run up towards that, but it's not looking good as I speak. Now, looking from an hourly perspective, and well, if you start breaking down much further, well, just looking across this market here, it's put in lower highs through yesterday and into today. It's whether or not it will continue in this sort of vein. If it starts breaking the lows here of this midi, the low of yesterday, well, we could see some further downside. There was a bit of divergence since that low yesterday. That's pretty much been worked off there, and it's a new sort of bit of price action from an RSI perspective, but it does look weak on this current hourly bar. We'll just see how things filter out a little bit this morning. It may take a bit of time with schools on holiday, etc., before we actually get back to complete normality in terms of volumes. But it does, as I say, it does look weak. Could be on for the daily S1, maybe even further as the day pans out. Cable, well, same spike a couple of days ago on the 30th there. Since then, well, yesterday sold off, and it's a bit of a bitty old day that we're looking at the moment. It's been back up to the underside of the weekly pivot, and it's fouled from that at the moment. It could really follow the euro, and I'm looking if it starts breaking down beyond this hourly 100 for possibly a move down to the S1. Now, things have to change quite a bit from where we're sitting at the moment for me to get bullish on this, and it doesn't really give a lot of short-term upside possibly, because it could just run into that R1 if it starts moving to the upside. But if it does, well, I'll be looking at a break of the 50 maybe, and if it starts pushing up, then I'll be a bit more bullish. At the moment, I'm erring on the bearish side here, but and the shorter time frames, cables looking, well, certainly uncertain at the moment. Dollar yen, well, dollar yen's much easier, no odd spikes, and it looks like it wants to carry on pushing upwards. Was within a smidgen of, I mean, on the 30th there, it's on a smidgen of the new pivot there. Maybe that was as close as it's going to get to its pivot, pushing up again once at the moment, and may want to continue up towards its monthly R1 sort of area. Looking at shorter time frames, it's already touched its daily pivot through the R1. So we could, as I say, could be pushing up further. It's already through the weekly pivots as well. It's just looking through here. Yes, already through its weekly R1 as well. So it's erring on the bullish side. Well, today we could be held back just purely by the R3 up there with the combination of pivot if it runs towards that area. But at the moment, dollar yen looking weak against the dollar there. Aussie dollar consolidated, no spikes again. It's much tighter range here. We have got the monthly pivot above us, which may draw it. If we see the other markets running up, perhaps it could run with them. At the moment, though, seeing this big hourly candle coming down here, does look weak on the open, effectively, of the European session, early European session here. Now, if it starts breaking below that weekly pivot there, it's just below 72, around about 72 area, we could see the daily pivot hit, which is much lower, or quite a bit lower, and then maybe it will continue towards yesterday's lows. At the moment, it's a bit sort of well, erring more bullish in a sense, what we're seeing here on this hourly time frame with the higher lows put in there, but I think it really depends on how the other markets operate this morning. If we see them selling off, well, we could see the Aussie dollar just rolling over. Finally, the Canadian dollar. Again, we've got the monthly pivot below us here. There's a chance we could push on to those sort of that monthly low there. I say monthly low, but back down to that monthly pivot on the CAD. It keeps on firming up against the US dollar. Lower highs, lower lows going through. And looking at the shorter time frame here, the intermediate time frame out on the alleys here, well, it's any push above that 50 MA. I expect it to run up to possibly the weekly pivot there. Probably a good early week target there through its R1 into the weekly pivot. So it pushes through the 50. We can close above the 50, may give us an opportunity to run for that. Alternatively, well, the pivots are pretty pinched on the dailies here, so we've got to be a bit careful in terms of what credence we give them. I'd be wary of them holding too much. It would be good for targets, not so good for support or resistance maybe. So a quick look at what oil's been doing. Okay, so oil's held up pretty sound and it's sitting around that $54 barrel, so it's just holding the Canadian dollar pretty firmly at this point. But as I said, if it breaks the 50, well, could be on for further upside, but more of a move to the upside there. Has got the weekly pivots above as the target. Okay, that's pretty much it for me. News-wise today, there isn't a lot of news. January 3rd, what we've got here, we've got the it's already out. Manufacturing PMI for the UK at 9:30. So we've got the PMI figures coming out this week, and the US ISM manufacturing at 3 p.m. So 9:30 and 3 p.m. are the two main figures for this today for us to be watching. Okay, that's it for me. Have a great one. Bye for now.